Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have Roy Smeck, and this is going to be a bit of fun, this video. It's not going to go on for too long because the performance is only 1 minute 42, but it's going to be a ukulele video, and don't judge it too quickly. Wait till you start watching it, because there's also some serious points that I want to make at the end of this video. But we'll have a little watch of Roy in action, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So I'll play the video through in full.
It's very nice indeed.
And then we end with a picture of Van Halen because of the tapping that was in there. But first of all, just Roy, what an amazing player of the ukulele. I think very much at the time, Roy was born in 1900. Like literally, not 1900 and something, 1900. So it was a year away from being born in the 1890s. Amazing to think that he was at that ability and had that technical ability so far back in time, and he was tapping on the ukulele. Towards the end of the 30s, he actually played at Roosevelt's inaugural ball. So he was pretty well known. But the thing about Roy was that when he played the ukulele, of course, back in those times, if you didn't sing and if you didn't do something with your performance, it wasn't almost as credible as singing. So Roy had little gimmicks that he'd do in order to make his show entertaining. We saw there the way that he blows into the ukulele and strikes the back of it as well, just to put something a little bit entertaining in there. The other thing is that playing the ukulele like that takes just as much work as an electric guitarist who's sweeping and tapping and has worked that long on electric guitar. It's exactly the same. There's no less hours that he's put in there. We had amazing technique in there, and that flamenco style as well that he throws in there, and tapping on to those nylon strings on the ukulele. If anyone's ever tried tapping on nylon strings, you'll know that it's so much hard work just to get a decent sound out of it. As you can see there, he was tapping on to the strings but not getting necessarily a great sound from it, just because you haven't got the luxury of effects and overdrive and sustain like you would do on an electric guitar. But I guarantee you that if he was doing that on an electric guitar, he would have been able to really distinguish each of those notes, and you'll be able to hear really clearly what he's playing. And like I mentioned earlier about building that novelty into his act to maybe get a little bit more coverage, a little bit more entertainment in there, he actually played the ukulele with his teeth, and he played it behind his head. So all these things that we attribute to electric guitar players and rock players of the 50s, 60s, 70s, actually Roy was doing it when, in the 30s, 20s and 30s. And I think even up until nowadays, when you mention the ukulele, that I'm going to feature a ukulele player, people will just turn off and think, it's going to be boring, ukulele's not that interesting. But it just goes to show that you can have just as much technique on a ukulele as you can have on the guitar and acoustic guitar, and all of these techniques, it's just a stringed instrument. It's going to cross over to the guitar. So Roy could play electric guitar as well, and just imagine if he had the things that Van Halen, for example, had at his disposal, that you can't imagine what Roy would have been able to achieve with an electric guitar. Lots of sustain and some overdrive and all those different effects that started to come in later on. Another thing is that he did a lot of recording for record labels back in the day, over 500 recordings that he did. So he was really active. He also did instructional books for people that wanted to play as well. And he was inducted into the Ukulele Hall of Fame as well, and also the Banjo Hall of Fame. So he's got the recognition because the people that actually played, I think, respected and understood what he did and how good it was. And at the age of 23, he started playing the octachord lap steel guitar. So now he's playing the guitar on his lap with a slide. And by the time he was 28, he released a song called Laughing Rag, which is one of those tracks that is seen as like the epitome of slide. So when we analyze it, he's gone from being age 23 to then age 28, picking it up for the first time, just learning how to play. And then at the age of 28, already he's up to such a level with it. He must have been such a religious practicer and putting in those hours all the time to then compose something that is going to be seen critically as one of the best slide tracks of the time. So really impressive, just picking up slide guitar so quickly and then being able to compose something that really goes down well and that a lot of people like. So just a quick fun video really, just to give a little bit of a shout out to Roy and the fact that he had implemented that tapping technique 15 years or more before Van Halen had even been born. So you could say, if you want to get really strict about it in terms of inventing tapping, Roy was actually doing it in the 20s, 30s and the 40s. Eddie, of course, was born in 1955. So he might have seen the video and picked it up from there, or he might have come up with it himself, thinking that nobody else had ever done it. But this is just a quick shout out to Roy. Thanks so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at in the first place. Keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!